Today, we're going to talk about the first appearances and key issues for the greatest day of the week, New Comic Book Day, July 27th, 2022. That's coming up next. I'm Jimmy Don Kerr, and this is the Small Town Collectibles YouTube channel. So before we get into talking about all the first appearances and the key issues and the cool covers this week, if you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed, won't you do that now? Hit that subscription button, turn on that notification bell so that you can get notified when I put out new content. Smash that like button and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the video and what books you're looking forward to this week. All right, with all that out of the way, let's jump into our first category. And as usual, we're going to do our covers. Several covers this week. First up, Total Homer pick by me. We got Action Comics number 1045, the cover A by Lucio Perillo. If you watch this channel at all, you know I love Perillo. You know I love Superman. Put those two together, and that is a must pick up for me. Staying with DC, we've got Batman Fortress number 3. This is the variant cover by Miko Suyon. This is the cover B variant. I like a good Suyon cover from time to time, and I love Batman, so I really dig this cover. Another DC cover, we've got Batman One Dark Knight number 3. Of course, that's the Jock series. This is the cover B variant by Bill Sienkiewicz. Again, love Sienkiewicz's work. Love this cover. Looks like it's in the swamp. Killer Croc. It's a great depiction. And you kind of got Batman out in the distance. So yeah, sweet, sweet cover, and one I'm definitely on the lookout for. Another artist that I really like, Francisco Mattina, has got a great cover this week with Deathstroke Inc. number 11. This is the cover B variant, of course, as I said, by Francisco Mattina. And I really dig these covers. Like, I think Deathstroke's one of those characters that it's hard to make a bad cover with him. But I like these ones where they kind of got the reflection. You've seen that with Silver Surfer and Thor. There's been a bunch of different ones. But I really like this one because you got Deathstroke and you got Green Arrow kind of in the reflection. Yeah, definite cool cover. Love Matina's work on this one, and it's another must pick up for me. So staying with Deathstroke, I really love this cover as well. It's a family portrait of the Deathstroke family, and that's Deathstroke Inc. number 11. This is the 1 in 25 variant by Ivan Tao. Yeah, I just love this. Like when I saw it, I thought, well, you know, it's like one of those old corny family pictures from back in the day. And I don't know how corny this is. You got knives and swords and all that stuff hanging in the background. But yeah, no, sweet, sweet cover. Love that one. 1 in 25 variant. Be on the lookout for that. I'm also a homer for a good Red Hood cover, and I really like this one this week. This is Task Force Z number 10, the cover C incentive variant from Ryan Brown. Yeah, just a gorgeous Red Hood cover. This is a definite one that I will be on the lookout for. So getting away from DC finally, right? It's clear I'm a DC homer, and their covers stand out to me. But there was a couple of other covers this week that I really liked. This one's from Marvel. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 6. This is the cover C variant from Ed McGuinness. Now, this is a wraparound cover with the new character, Sinister Adaptoid. I've kind of figured out that I like these covers that have like depth to them. And you've got the new character, Sinister, you know, chasing Spider-Man down the street. Yeah, absolutely love this one as well. And wrapping up our covers this week, we've got Something Is Killing the Children, number 25, the cover H variant by Yi-Hung Lee. This is the Cutter cover, and this is another one of those that I said, I think it was last week, that I saw the cover and I was like afraid not to put it on there. This is one of those. This is kind of a sick cover. Kind of puts me in mind of the Batman Who Laughs for whatever reason. But yeah, dig this cover, very sick, and you can get this one at retail price of like $4.99. So this is an affordable cover to pick up. All right, that's all the covers for this week. Normally we go to second prints right now, but there weren't any second prints of note this week, so we're going to jump straight into our one-shots. First up from Image, we've got the Hollows number 1 in this specially priced extra-length comic. Artist Sam Keith and writer Chris Rael transport you to a dystopian near-future Japan, where spectral, once-human husks prey on the unfortunates who couldn't find salvation in the skyscraper-like trees that now dominate the decimated landscape. A discredited scientist works furiously to find a cure until a one-eyed orphan girl and her pet, Erp, force him to rethink everything he knows. That's the Hollows number 1, and that's the one-shot from Image Comic. Now that does say it's specially priced, it's extra length, and I looked up the price, it was $8.99. I think that sounds like a cool story, especially for a one-shot. You can kind of get all that wrapped up in one story. Next up from Aardvark, we've got Cerebrus and Hell presents Uncrucifiable Cerebrus Gay Bar #1. The coined adjective, uncrucifiable, provokes an inside Aardvark Vanaheim debate on the inside front cover. Fortunately, we're all past finding anything controversial with anyone going to a gay bar. Right? Right. Cerebrus is being a total dick on the cover, but then when isn't Cerebrus being a total dick? On the cover, inside the book, at a gay bar, pretty much everywhere. After page 1, it's, spoiler alert, a move along, nothing to see here, things as we get to the more important issues. Jobs. Can Cerebrus get one? Evidently, can Cerebrus hold on to a job? Well, that's another question. That Cerebrus and Hell presents Uncrucifiable Cerebrus Gay Bar #1, and that's the one shot from Aardvark. Next up from Sex Publishing, we've got Macabre Motel #1. Writer, creator Frank Martin welcomes you to the Macabre Motel, a Twilight Zone-inspired weird horror story that will leave you feeling deeply unsettled long after the final page. Anxious about meeting his girlfriend's family, Steve decides to rest his eyes at the only motel around. But once inside, the bizarre cast of characters leaves him shaken, terrified, and questioning his very sanity. Are you ready to enter the Macabre Motel? So that's Macabre Motel #1 from Sex Publishing. Last one shot this week is from Ahoy, and that's Wrong Earth Meet #1. The Multi-Earth event concludes in a special written by Wrong Earth co-creator Tom Pyre. On Earth Alpha, have Dragonfly Man and Stinger met their match in Dr. Meat? Can Stinger's nightmare all be a bad dream? Meanwhile, on Earth Omega, Dragonfly meets someone he can talk to and help out in a time of need, for both of them. All 5 Wrong Earth specials feature covers by co-creator Jamal Igle and a special incentive cover by legendary artist Gene Ha. This issue also features a second incentive cover by Bill Morrison from The Simpsons. So that's Wrong Earth Meet #1 from Ahoy Comics. All right, and that wraps up all our one-shots this week. Let's jump into the big two when we start with DC. First up from DC, we've got DC Mech #1. This is a 6-issue limited series. At the end of World War II, Earth was invaded by giant mechanized parademons from a planet called Apocalypse. Earth's protectors, the Justice Society of America, were devastated, and with them, the age of superheroes came to an end and the era of the mech began. In the ensuing years, the world has stockpiled colossal battlesuits piloted by elite warriors, waiting for the day Apocalypse returns. But when Kal-El, the last son of a dying world, crash lands in Metropolis with his own warsuit, he'll face down 2 of Earth's finest mech fighters, the Flash and Batman. The dawn of a brave new mechanized DCU is here from Rising Star creative team of Kenny Porter and Baltimore Rivas. That is DC Mech #1. And I think that sounds fun. I'm definitely checking this one out. It's kind of out of continuity, kind of like a futuristic, apocalyptic type story. But yeah, I think it sounds cool. Pacific Rim style with your favorite DC characters. Next up, we've got Detective Comics number 1062. We highlight this book because there's a new creative team starting on this issue, and that is Ron V and Raphael Albuquerque. So yeah, excited for Ron V on the Detective Comics title. Then we have Superman Space Age #1. Meet Clark Kent, a young reporter who just learned that the world will soon come to an end, a la Crisis on Infinite Earths, and there's nothing he can do to save it. Sounds like a job for his alter ego, Superman. After years of standing idle, the young man from Krypton defies the wishes of his fathers to come out to the world as the first superhero of the space age. As each decade passes and each new danger emerges, he wonders if this is the one that will kill him and everyone he loves. Superman realizes that even good intentions are not without their backlash as the world around him transforms into a place as determined to destroy itself as he is to save it. So that's Superman Space Age #1, and I, for one, am excited for that title. Now, wrapping up DC, we've got Young Justice Targets #1. Queen Perdita has been kidnapped. Mysterious armored assailants have snatched the Leviathan Royal out from beneath Bowhunter security, leaving Green Arrow and Black Canary poisoned and comatose in the process. Now a rallying cry echoes around the globe and across super teams to band together and rescue Perdita. Young Justice co-creator Greg Wiseman and Christopher Jones bring you an action-packed follow-up to the Young Justice Phantoms that will rock the team to its core. Plus, each issue includes a bonus story detailing previously unseen adventures from past seasons of Young Justice. So that's Young Justice Targets #1. And that wraps up DC for this week, so now let's jump into Marvel. First up for Marvel, we've got Amazing Spider-Man #6, and this is a milestone issue, and that is issue number 900. So definitely be on the lookout for that this week. Next up, we've got a new Ant-Man title, and that's Ant-Man Volume 3, #1. Flashback to the early days of Hank Pym's career and the astonishing Ant-Man. It's date night for Hank and his girlfriend Janet Van Dyne, but nobody told that to Ant-Man's enemies. Watch as Hank's antagonists band together to finally take down the scientific adventurer. But will anyone come to his rescue? And who is this mysterious stranger who stalks him? Join Al Ewing and Tom Riley as they explore the history of every hero, past, present, and future, called Ant-Man. So that's Ant-Man #1, that's Volume 3. Next up, book I'm excited to read, we've got Gambit Volume 6, #1. You think you know all there is to know about Remy LeBeau, the Raging Cajun, the mutant known as Gambit. But legendary ex-scribe Chris Claremont has an ace up his sleeve with this new series. Before he joined the X-Men, Gambit encountered a mysterious girl named Ro. The mutant Storm regressed to her child self by the nefarious Nanny, and the two went up against the forces of the Shadow King. Now, revealed for the first time, Gambit finds his path to becoming the heroic X-Man millions of fans call their favorite. Joined by rising star artist Sid Codian, Chris weaves a story of action, intrigue, and revenge that made Gambit the mutant he is and forged his relationship with Storm. You'll get a charge out of this one. That's Gambit Volume 6, #1. Also for Marvel, we've got Janice Vale, Captain Marvel #1. This is a 5-issue limited series. Both now back in the land of living, Janice Vale and Rick Jones are about to come crashing back into each other. Witness Janice Vale, Captain Marvel, return to the pages of his very own series, written by legendary scribe Peter David and drawn by artist Juanan Ramirez. Can Rick Jones save Janice and himself before they both fade out of existence? Is Rick's ex-wife Marlo the key? Find out when Peter David turns to take Janice Vale to all new heights. And our last book from Marvel this week is Wild Card Drawing of Cards #1. This is a 4-issue series spanning more than 25 novels, more than 20 short stories released over 3 decades and written by more than 40 authors. The Wild Card series tells the story of an alternate history in which the Earth is home to superpowered individuals. When a human is infected with the alien wildcard virus, the odds are that they will be killed, which is referred to as drawing the Black Queen. Of those who survive, the bulk of them become jokers, left with some strange mutated form. A lucky few are called aces, those gifted with superpowers that they can put to use toward heroes' goals or villainous ones. Now, for the first time in comic book form, see how the Wild Cards universe began with an adaptation of the very first stories in the original Wild Cards novel. Based on stories by Harold Waldrop, Roger Zelazny, and series mastermind and editor George R.R. Martin, Wild Cards is a stellar introduction to a whole new world reshaped by the emergence of superpowers. That's Wild Card Drawings of Cards #1. So yeah, I'm excited to read that one as well. I really like the premise of that synopsis. Definitely going to check that one out. I think there's a lot of strong books out from the big two this week and books I'm looking forward to checking out. Right now, with the big two out of the way, let's jump into our independent publishers. And first up, from Black Box Comics, we've got Ninja Gaiden #1. Not even a lifetime of martial arts training and years as an elite soldier could prepare Yuki Snow for his newest challenge. CEO of his deceased father's company. Suddenly thrust into a leadership role at Yokai Consolidated, Yuki finds himself taking over his father's pet project, the mysterious Gaiden armor, which would allow its wearer to see, speak to, and touch ghosts. So that's Ninja Gaiden #1, and that sounds like a cool story. From Blood Moon Comics, we've got Sufferwells #1. Around the rim of a large man-made lake resides a rural community. The lake has provided the community with commerce and recreation, but it has also taken. While two young friends navigate the waterways and the complications of southern poverty, they must also remain vigilant of an elusive local cryptid species. So from Blood Moon Comics, we've got Sulphur Whales #1. That's another one that sounds really good. From Boom Studios, we've got a milestone issue for Something is Killing the Children, and that is Something is Killing the Children #25. This is a 40-page milestone issue. From Dynamite, we've got Vampirella Year 1, #1. Following the explosive conclusion to Vampirella Dracula Unholy comes the next chapter in Christopher Priest's Vampirella saga. Wanted for murder, and with every demon, shaman, vampire, whack job zealot, reporter, and law enforcement officer on Earth hunting for her, Vampirella has taken refuge in an undisclosed location where she questions why she came to our world in the first place. So that's a Vampirella Year 1, #1 from Dynamite, and that kind of sounds like an origin story to me. Not a big Vampirella reader, but that sounds kind of cool. Next up, we jump over to Image Comics, and we've got Magic Order 3, #1. This is the miniseries premiere of a 6-issue limited series. Superstar writer Mark Millar launches the 3rd volume of his smash hit horror series with Italian genius Gigi Caviago on art for another 6-issue run. We've met the American and British members of the Magic Order. Now it's time to meet the Asian chapter, including a brilliant new major player in the upcoming live-action Netflix show, Sammy Liu. This issue will be a huge collector's item. That's Magic Order 3, #1. And I don't really know how much of a collector's item that'll really be. That's what it said in the synopsis. I imagine with this type of character showing up, this will probably be highly printed, but it would definitely be worth grabbing to add to your PC. Now we jump over to Opus, and we've got Cradle of Filth #1. In the ruined halls of the Maledictus Antheum lie occult histories, sealed records, and cursed artifacts. This unholy archive explores the far corners of Cradle of Filth's musical legacy, a vast universe of ageless vampires, mythical creatures, and vengeful gods. Within this hidden vault, we revisit the succubus and nemesis in stories from an all-star roster of comic talent. That's Cradle of Filth #1 from Opus Comics. From Source Point Press, we've got Mechanics #1. In the not-too-distant future, a young girl by the name of Kiko and her grandfather operate Junipe's temporal roadside response, servicing and repairing broken-down time machines, all while searching for Kiko's parents who are lost somewhere in time. From Source Point Press, that is Mechanics #1. From Storm King Productions, we've got John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction Interference Pattern #1. Pilot and physicist David Pillar has a theory that it's possible to travel between the universes within a multiverse. Meanwhile, his colleague, Dr. Cochrane Nestor, is experimenting with faster-than-light travel. Together, they devise an experiment to prove both theories at once. David reluctantly agrees to pilot the ship, and when the day arrives, it appears to be a success. For a moment. That's John Carpenter's Tales of Science Fiction Interference Pattern #1. I think that kind of sounds fun as well. Enjoy a good John Carpenter tale. Last book in our key issues list this week comes from Valiant, and that's Book of Shadows #1. Shadow Man, Punk Mambo, Eternal Warrior, Dr. Mirage. The supernatural protectors of the Valiant universe unite for the very first time to stand against a terrifying ancient threat. No one is safe as Exarch Fane has his cold hands on the Book of Shadows. Master of Horror Cullen Bunn and his rising star artist Ricardo Latina present Book of Shadows, a supernatural event that forms a brand new team in the Valiant universe. But will they be enough to stop Exarch Fane's wrath? That's Book of Shadows #1 from Valiant Comics. All right, and that wraps up all our key issues this week. A lot of good stuff coming out to read. Definitely looking forward to picking up some of these indie titles as well. All right, now with all the key issues out of the way, let's jump into the last category, and that is our first appearances. We start first appearances with Marvel. We've got Amazing Spider-Man #6. And as I mentioned earlier in the covers, there is a new character, and this is the first appearance of Sinister Adaptoid, a being equipped with the power of the Sinister Six. Now, the solicitation states that someone from Spider-Man's past has captured the Sinister Six and used them to create the Sinister Adaptoid, not making it clear if it's a version of the existing Super Adaptoid or a fully new creation. So definitely be on the lookout for that new character in Amazing Spider-Man number 6. Staying with Marvel, we've got Ant-Man number 1, and we get the first appearance of a new Ant-Man from the year 2549. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that one as well. Now this next book, I wasn't entirely sure if there's a true first appearance in this, but I wanted to make note of it so that you can be on the lookout for it if you're a first appearance collector. That is Swamp Thing 15. And the solicitation mentions Enter Trinity, an unprecedented being created by humankind's most destructive moment. So this this character Trinity, very well could be a first appearance. Could not confirm one way or the other, so definitely be on the lookout just in case. Staying with DC, we've got Young Justice Targets number 1. Talk about this one in the key issues. In this book, we get the first appearance of Queen Perida in comic books. And our last 2 books on our first appearance list this week both come from Marvel. First up is Gambit number 1. We get a possible first appearance or cameo of Solars. So definitely be on the lookout for that first appearance as well. And then last up, Strange number 4. We get the reintroduction of Shadow Knight, the brother of Mark Spector in this book. But we do get the first full appearance of Director Nunn, member of the Blasphemy Council. All right, guys, that wraps them up. That's all the first appearances this week, and that wraps up our list for New Comic Book Day, July 27th, 2022. Hope this video helps you in some way. Make your selections for New Comic Book Day. I know I enjoy doing it and putting it out, and let me know in the comments below what books you're looking forward to picking up this week. All right, guys, hope you have the greatest New Comic Book Day ever. I know I'm going to, and you know how we end these. Until next time.